Test, test, test. Caitlin, do a quick test.
Hello, check, check.
Test, test.
Something real
Caitlin
fast.
says. Okay, here we go. Here comes the intro. Oh, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Goth Yearbook. It is I, your host, as always, Eric, aka the Eric Wynn. And with us, as always, is the hostess with the most, is Caitlin, aka the Caitlin D. Caitlin, how is it? King Cobra something. Injectioning. I blanked out because I was like, I don't remember how it was actually given to you, so I don't know what it was.
So it's like a piece of wood. This is a piece of incense that I'm holding up. They take like a little piece of wood, like a stick that it's probably a kebab skewer, honestly, and they like light the end of it with the lighter, and then they burn a little patch into your skin, and then they put the venom on with drop, like a syringe, and then it soaks into the skin. So yeah.
And what is this? What do we accomplish by doing this?
What do we accomplish? Well, it's just really to be cool.
That's fair. I mean, that's an answer.
Yeah, it's just to live really hardcore and be super rad. No, I had originally heard about this from a friend who lives in the undisclosed tropical town that I'm currently residing in, and
San Diego,
California, the exotic San Diego, and basically it had like really helped one of my friends here with their chronic ailments, which were mostly physical. There's a bunch of different types of venom, like snake venom, that this particular practitioner like provides, and he was a bit much for me, honestly. Like, he was very, like, I think all of his intentions were good. I tend to rarely do medicines like this with well, first of all, at all, although it doesn't seem like that lately, but it's like different to do it with like a masculine practitioner.
Right.
It's like super aggressive, and it was very direct and straightforward.
Was he flexing like the whole time and talking about his workout routine?
Well, he was just like, here it is, this is what we're doing, here you go. I'm gonna tell you all my stories and
kind of like a
ask you
skydiving teacher or something, like that energy.
Well, as someone also who's been a practitioner of certain medicines with people who are like sometimes in pretty compromised states, I tend to be like, I'm like trauma informed and consent, and like right. How are you feeling? What are you comfortable
checking
with?
In, right?
Can I use my hands to gesture? Or does that trigger you? Like everything's just really super like client focused. And he was just like, all right, give me your arm. Here's some snake venom. And then like while he was giving it to us, he started talking about all these different plants and medicines and stuff. And he was like, I don't even remember which one he was talking about, but he's pulling stuff out of the fridge and these packages and just showing us and stuff. Because you have to sit there for a while with your arm laid out so that the venom can soak in, and you like can't move it. And he was just pulling all this stuff out, and then he takes this tincture out, and you see like iboga is like on his shelf, and like all these things that are powerful. Iboga, it's like one of the super powerful psychedelics that's used to get off heroin. It's like a heroin, it interrupts the addiction cycle. But yeah, and then he pulls out this tincture and he's like, open your mouth. And then he just like puts this tincture in my mouth. And I was like, wait a minute, what did I just do? It freaked me the fuck out. Because normally people are super like, all right, we're going to call in the directions and your guides, and, like wave a feather and like light a candle and, right. Smudge the space and ask for permission for things and like all this stuff. And he was just like, bam, do you want a cigarette? Like, let's do this. And it was very like the yang to all the yin I've been getting, I guess, from these people. Yeah. But by these people, I mean like the practitioners that I've been exposed to down here. But it was
I knew what you meant by those people.
I haven't really been able to identify much yet, but it's also a 3-dose treatment. Right. And that was my first one. And So I don't really want to comment on like the efficacy until I've gone through the whole thing, because I feel like that wouldn't be whatever. But we'll see. I didn't have any experience while I was being like given it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was kind of harrowing just to get through the process itself, to be honest.
Honestly, at this point, I was just like, this is kind of a fun morning. We went to brunch after with just like, and then I went shopping and got a hat. And it was just like, it's a well-rounded day.
And then you recently, of course, for those of you who follow the show, Caitlin did the toad. Bufo.
Bufo, yeah.
So you need like one more before your exotic adventure.
Well, I did the scorpion too, which was
that's right.
That was unintentional, yeah.
Yeah, that was like the God-given one. Okay, so now you need like a quad one. You just need like a giant like hawk to just grab you from the sky.
Just come and swoop down and fucking take me away.
Yeah.
Maybe when I move to Tennessee, that's how I'll get there. I'll just like
you're like
go out with a knapsack with prints in it and just wait for an eagle to take me.
What do they call that thing? Not everyone, but a lot of people are getting really into, or like it's suspension play, I guess you can call it. But people, I don't think it's even like a kink thing. It's just like a thing people do now. Where like they have like hooks like fucking stuck into their actual like body, and then they're like swung around and shit. Looks very painful, and it reminds me of like what it'd be like to get like hooked by a hawk and just like flown around for a bit.
I don't know what you're referring to.
You don't know what? Well, whatever. People, the people at home know.
I know what the suspension stuff is, and it does sound vaguely familiar. Like maybe there's like indigenous practices around it, but I don't know enough. I don't know.
That might be true as far as origins. It usually looks like a lot of like Hot Topic employees who are like actually doing it.
But now it's like a Burning Man.
Yeah, like, very much
get
so.
Spit roasted.
Well, on that note,
I don't think I'm ever gonna go that far. Honestly, like everything I've done, I feel like has been less extreme than a lot of the stuff I've seen, people go through and that I've gone through, in the Western track. It's just less normalized for our culture, For people that are born and raised around it, it's totally, old hat, if you will.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess my version of that this weekend was that I found a tick that was burrowing into me. So.
Oh yeah, you have.
I don't know if I get special tick powers. I may get Lyme disease, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's gross. Have we told the people about your slug problem?
Yeah, we talked about it on a very recent episode. I think we talked about it just on the very last one, but yes. I am prone to.
Have you been slugged again since then, or no?
No, but okay. Real quickly, before we move on to our guests, I will say that we get like a shit ton of snails like on our pathway, like leading to like the driveway recently, and 3 times now we have found snails in the house, like specifically on like our record player and shit like that. I kid you not. Don't know how they get in the house and like how they get all the way over there, because it's like homeward bound, the incredible journey to get from like the outside to like where the credenza is, where the record player resides. But
well, you know what you have to do, right?
What?
You
put
have
it
to
on
go
and spin it.
No, you have to do a full hocus pocus and get like the salt and just like take it all around your house and build a protection.
Yeah. Oh my
circle.
God. I really should. But yeah, in case you're new and this is your first time listening to Goth Yearbook, like 2 or 3 times now, I've been just chilling on my couch and all of a sudden found like a slug, just like a slug literally chilling on my body. And that's like not a bit. There's nothing else to say to it. I've just been sitting there and I look down and there's just a fucking slug on my persons, and it's happened like.
No, I've gotten these photos. It's pretty unreal. Like whatever. I don't know what joke God is playing on you, but.
Hey, maybe I'll like look up what slugs represent and see. What what's crazy? That used to be
slug medicine. Yeah.
That was my nickname back in high school. A lot of people call me Slug.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe it's like Revenge of the Slug. Oh my gosh.
The plot thickens.
I know. Teddy, my cat, one of many cats here, is just meowing up a storm. So I apologize if you're hearing that on the mic.
Who I swear to God, Teddy only started existing like 2 days ago.
Who knows? Well, on that note, I think it's time that we bring our guest this evening. Our guest is a musician best known as the keyboardist, pianist, and multi-instrumentalist for the band Death Cab for Cutie, and they are also a studio session musician who has contributed to Leonard Cohen's final two studio albums, as well as appearing on albums by Lana Del Rey, Dua Lipa, Childish Gambino, and friends of the show, Best Coast. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Zach Ray. Oh, there they are. Hello.
Ooh, that was like a cool fade in.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. As we were mentioning before we went live, this is kind of for the YouTubers, but for the listeners at home, Zach and Caitlin have very similar backgrounds right now, to the point where it almost looks like they're both recording on different ends of a living room couch, and they just don't want to give it away to the people at home. But I assure you, Caitlin is still in a undisclosed exotic tropical location.
I'm in an undisclosed non-tropical location.
I was gonna say, you said you're in a haunted hotel. Where is that?
I'm in Seattle. I am rehearsing with my band for our shows that we have coming up in the summer. And the other guys, several of the guys live here, and me and the guitar player do not. So we have to stay. And we have done, in our 7.5, 8 years of being in the band, we have sort of done a tour of just about every hotel in Seattle. And this is my favorite. It's kind of weird. It's very old school. It has this kind of wood paneled lounge with a fireplace and a grand piano. And they have the menu from Thanksgiving 1922, framed on the wall.
Nice.
There's one single elevator car that goes very kind of creakily up and down. And it's got a little bit of the kind of overlook.
Yeah.
Hotel kind of
I was about to say, is there a bartender who's telling you to kill your family or anything?
They're sometimes it does feel like the people that work here might not actually be alive.
Yeah, you're gonna go to your next band practice, and they're gonna be like, that hotel hasn't existed in 30 years.
It's real, but it's right on the edge. But I like it, and sometimes I think when I was drinking more, I would have a couple glasses of wine, and then I would just sit in the lobby and play the piano by the fire until they could kick me out. But now I'm more shy, so I'm just hiding in my room.
That sounds cool, though. Have you had any weird dreams or haunting experiences there?
None spring to mind, but I'll keep an eye out. I'll try and remember some, and I'll write you and let you know.
Yeah, please do. You should do a full scale paranormal investigation, EVP recordings, and light a candle, get a Ouija board.
Yeah, that sounds that I'm here for another week, so plenty of time.
You got time. Yeah. I say that, and then I would never do that. I would be way too scared.
I don't really think there's anything fishy going on, but it's nice to pretend. It's certainly more charming than just being at the generic new IKEA,
a Marriott.
Yeah.
This place is, it's charming, and it's charming, and it has its funk. Pre-COVID, they really the lounge at happy hour. There was the fire was going, and they had free wine between 5 and 6 if you were staying at the hotel. It was really kind of a fun, and it's just sort of weird old people sitting there drinking the free wine. I can get it.
Hell yeah, that's me and Eric's scene.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And then it's kind of like they haven't really been doing that since the whole, thing. But
Since the event,
Since
the incident.
Spotify dropped. Is that your move? Do you do that sometimes where you'll like, have you like ever done that where you really go up to like the piano there in the lobbies of places and just start playing because like you actually are really good and like really I'm assuming like trained in all the different forms? Do they usually kind of like allow it, or is it something
they don't seem to mind. A lot of times the pianos are in really bad shape, but this one they like they tune it, and like they take, it's like really nice. Like some of them are more furniture. And there was another hotel I was at a few weeks ago in Oregon that had a piano in the lobby, and it sounded terrible, but the one here sounds really good. And so maybe like I'll run down for the postscript and turn the camera on down there or something.
I love it. There is this club in Portland, Maine. Shout out to Portland, Maine. I just had to quickly Google it because I always forget what it's called. But it's called Bubba's. I just lost it. It's called Bubba's something, like lounge or something like that. It's this incredible like bar dance club thing. I went there like, swear to God, it was like New Year's Eve or something like that a couple years ago. And it was like snowing. It was fun. And they have like an old school like disco light up like dance floor kind of thing. And in there, like way tucked in the back, is like this like beautiful, just like old, like not tended to piano. And I'm not like really good, but like I can play like a couple like jazz licks on the piano. And I went to play it, and I can understand like sometimes you have drunken fools like hammering it or doing chopsticks or whatever, and they like get pissed about it. But like I was playing something all right, and they were not having any of it. And my friend, shout out to my friend Jamie. She is a beautiful soul, and she is way more confrontational than I'll ever be. She like, it's like the fucking Mary Jane and Peter Parker meme that's going around recently, where she like looked at them and she snapped a finger up. She's like, "No, you will let him finish playing." I was like, "Whoa." And I did, because I was like, you can't have your friend put themselves out there like that and then not like take up your end of the bargain. But it's very uncomfortable after that. I'll say that.
That would make me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Next time I'm in Portland, Maine, I will look this place up, and I will go.
Please do.
Play their piano and get up in their grills.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and just shout, "This is for Goth Yearbook. This is for Eric."
They'll know. They will know. You said you guys are about to embark on a tour, or playing just like a select summer dates type thing?
So we have a couple weeks of shows right up, first couple weeks of July. But then our album is dropping, I think the word is they use now, in mid-September.
So I heard. That's exciting.
Subsequent to that, there will be a more substantial tour. So we're sort of doing double duty rehearsing for both. But just kind of getting our shit together, learning new songs, learning old songs.
Nice.
Remembering how to play our instruments.
Am I allowed to ask how far back in the catalog you guys are dipping into?
We are learning. We did a poll on the internet of requested songs, and we're trying to pull in maybe like 6 to 8 songs that span the whole catalog from the very first release up through a few years ago, like things that just hadn't been played really, or had barely been played, or hadn't been played in a long time. And then we have the new album, which has 11 songs on it, and so we're going to work all of those up. So that's, plus all the other stuff that we play. So quite a bit of stuff to work through, but it's all sounding good so far.
That's awesome. That is very exciting. There's like a handful of bands that like have stayed with me from youth all the way through childhood and death. I would say like the two that always come to my mind are Death Cab for Cutie and Yola Tango. Bands where I've just like from first album all the way to the very last. And Death Cab for Cutie is especially a sweet and tender start for myself, because the reason I found out about them was a very attractive girl that I had a crush on at my school. showed me their first album on the bus, like in high school when I was a freshman, and she was like a senior, and she was like,
first album being about
something
airplanes.
Yeah, something about airplanes. And I was just like, I wanted to look cool in front of her, and I was like, yeah, I know about them. And I didn't know who they were. But then I quickly fell in love with them, and I think it was like only like 6 months later that Transatlanticism actually dropped after I discovered them. So it was like they'd already been around for a while. It's just that she happened to listen to that album and then stuck with me ever since.
Yola Tango is opening our shows on the West Coast.
I think I did know that actually, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm a big fan, and we have Low opening the East Coast shows.
Yeah,
and who are amazing. Like
also a long running band of mine. Yeah.
So we're kind of like, it's one of the like, we're not worthy.
Very, very much so. Don't do that to yourself, sir. I'm going to dip into, so we get questions from the audience, and I'm going to dip into it a little bit early because actually someone had a question that's related to the topic right now, and they wanted to know, what's your secret for not losing your mind when you're on tour?
Lots of walking.
Oh, that makes sense.
I just walk all the time, everywhere. Because there's a lot of wasted time on tour, a lot of downtime. You only, if you think about it, a show is 2 hours, and there's 22 hours in the day. You got to fill up doing something. But yeah, usually it's walking around, reading, sort of finding the sort of the things to do kind of in any place. Like, sort of there's usually, 1 day's worth of like enjoyable activities in just about everywhere,
Right.
Find something good to do.
What place would you say is your favorite, totally besides the show part?
Right.
And like, what's your favorite place to walk in?
Like what city?
Yeah.
I mean, usually when people ask me like, what's my favorite place to go on tour? My de facto answer is Tokyo. Because it's Tokyo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a great walking city.
It's a great walking city. It's a great kind of everything city, and it's just like having gone to a lot of places, there are some places that kind of like you sort of meet your expectation, and there are some places which perhaps don't quite live up to your expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw, if you go, either of you guys follow that like Depths of Wikipedia account. Instagram's quite a good one.
But that sounds like
really,
something I'd
good.
be really
There's
into.
always something weird every day from Wikipedia. And one of the things was called like Paris syndrome, which is like people going to Paris and like being disappointed that it's like Amelie or something.
Yeah.
Like,
where is the orange filter?
Right. Yeah. Like where are the like manic French people running around? It's just
that's hilarious.
And so like, maybe people might have a bit of that in some cities. And Tokyo is like the opposite of that. It's like you go there and it's like Blade Runner.
Shit.
Meets like Howl's Moving Castle. It's just crazy.
Right.
And everything is like wild and strange and futuristic and like cartoonish, yet also like serene and beautiful. And there'll be like a little temple with like a Zen garden next to a skyscraper with like a crazy 3D hologram video screen, and then like it's just all bonkers. So Tokyo, 7
That's cool.
I highly recommend. Go to Tokyo.
What would you say? Do you have like a favorite place that is the complete opposite end of the spectrum, but you almost like enjoy, like you respect it for like its quiet solitude when you're in the middle of tour,
Quiet
like Iowa
dignity.
or something. Yeah, Iowa does have a quiet dignity, I will say. Quiet dignity. That's good.
That's like that. That like a specific place that I have a connection to. Portland, Maine is actually a very good one in like that it's like a very, very quiet, beautiful town, but yet like just always really pleasant. The times I've been there. I think this kind of just, you can have those unexpected experiences in a lot of different places, where maybe you don't like, you're like, oh, we're just going to be in blah, blah, blah today. And like, I don't, not just sort of not expecting anything. And then you walk around and it's like, the town is amazing. What's a good one was that was like that was Bristol.
Oh, never been, but I would love to.
I grew up in England. I'd never been to Bristol. Never toured there, and then went there 3 or 4 years ago, and it's like the coolest town. And then you're like, oh well, now I can see why like all these like amazing bands came from Bristol.
I was gonna say they have a laundry list of great acts that have come from Bristol.
And so but it's like one of those towns where just like you walk into like a random little, it's like, oh, there's a record store, and you go in and it's like the most amazing like vintage jazz records, just like rows and rows and rows of them. And like, what? And then you go into like a little cafe and they're playing some cool music you've never heard, like some weird Indian music you've never heard. And they're like coffee's really good. And you're like, what? It just doesn't look like anything. Like, so like, so Bristol was maybe of recent places, or like relatively recent places, because obviously I have barely been anywhere in the last almost years. We finished our tour in September of 2019, and then I haven't been out of the country since then, and nearly out of LA since then, compared to normal. But Bristol was somewhere we went in 2019 that like just completely surprised me. So, and it's tiny little town. Like you can walk end to end in like 3 hours. It's teeny.
Right, Tokyo and Bristol. Well, we have half of our MASH answers for later, Eric.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, did you learn to play? What was your first instrument that you started with?
Piano.
Were you? Yeah. Did you start like out of curiosity? Did you start like because like wanting to learn jazz? Like, do you have jazz beginnings, or was it always like kind of pop? Or
the specific thing that I wanted to learn how to play was ragtime piano.
Oh shit.
There was I actually had a whole experience with this fairly recently, where not snake venom, but I was on another substance, and I had a whole flashback to like the moment as a child that I decided I wanted to play the piano, which was crazy, super powerful.
Wow, that's cool.
But basically, the way I remember it was neither of my parents are musicians, but they played a lot of music in the house, and I think that there was this Joshua Rifkin plays Scott Joplin piano record. It's a pretty famous record, pretty easy to find. I think it was a very popular record in the day, and I think it was something I really liked when I was a little kid. And then in my school, probably it's like first grade maybe, or I can't remember. I don't know if it's for first grade or kindergarten, because the numbers are different in England. And somebody came into school and played the piano, and they played one of those pieces. And I made the connection that like a person could do it. And so I like, I want to do that. Like, I'm going to do that one day. And I had this I like re-experienced that when I was hallucinating. Crazy. But but that was the thing. So, but I started, and you could kind of only really just take classical. So I sort of slogged my way through playing classical music in order to get to the ragtime.
Who
and then once I started playing ragtime, then I was kind of like, that's cool. And then when I was a teenager in the States, when we moved here, I started playing jazz and I started playing guitar and being in bands and like, you know, I've got the 4-track and the whole thing, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
There you go. I'm trying to think of who would be like a ragtime piano player. Is Fats Waller considered ragtime, or is that considered like just early jazz?
He's kind of the transition from ragtime to early jazz.
Gotcha. Okay.
So ragtime kind of predates recording. So it was piano rolls mostly, or sheet music. But Scott Joplin is kind of the big one, the big sort of ragtime like composer. But I think a lot of it was improvised, Jelly Roll Morton sort of also, but it's like just on the quest into jazz.
It actually kind of segues into a question we got, which someone wanted to know, do you know what the first song was that you learned to play? Which maybe, since some of that stuff is like improvised, like was there a first song like intentionally you sought out to learn how to play that song?
No, not. I mean, I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you like the things I learned like in the first few years, like the because there's a whole canon of like sort of simplified student piano music. Probably played a lot of that stuff. I don't really remember. I do remember sort of as soon as I had like the ability to kind of try and do it, trying to get onto the ragtime and sort of being kind of frustrated that I wasn't good enough yet. And I was like 8. Like my hand, like my little bit. You need like kind of big hands because there's a lot of doing this.
Right.
And I had these like, you know, little baby hands, and I was like, why can't I do this? You know, I can't do it yet. But
I love the idea of an 8-year-old being super frustrated about not being like a ragtime pianist.
Well, you know, kind of set a tone for the rest of my life. So
fair.
the grumpy 8-year-old.
This isn't ragtime yet.
Someone wanted to know, just out of curiosity, what's your favorite instrument that you currently own?
I have an upright piano in my studio that I'm very fond of. It's this Wing and Sons upright piano, and I've recorded it a ton, and it was sampled, and this company made a whole sampled version of it that's really kind of it's taken on a life of its own. Like I hear it on other people's records.
No shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Really
That's crazy.
because you're like, wait, that sounds like my piano, and you're like, oh right, it is my piano. It's the sample of my piano.
Oh my god.
That's pretty special. That piano. And then I have a couple really nice acoustic guitars. I kind of, all the other stuff is like when I'm old, like I just want like that piano and like my really nice like old acoustic guitar, and like that's it. Like everything else can go away.
Caitlin, what about you? Do you have a favorite instrument or music gear thing or anything?
That's sad breakdown. Everything's in LA, so I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Don't you have like a really nice? I sort like a really like a old red Fender Jaguar.
That was something that my sister's husband's dad loaned to me that he used to play back in the day, but it was like a 1967 or 68 Fender Jaguar. Yeah, and it had like the matching red like headstock, and I mean, that guitar was super cool. It's funny because it hadn't been opened in like 10 years. And when I opened it and like was playing it, or I went to go tune it, it was like perfectly in tune too. It just shows too, like how different craftsmanship is. And, you know, like
these days. They do not make them like they used to.
Yeah, this is a great episode. We need to put an intro in this episode. Like grab some sleepy time tea and curl up with your favorite candle and a sconce because we're playing ragtime and relaxing
it's the mood
to nostalgia.
I am a, you wanted me here, you got me.
Yeah, you brought the vibe for sure. Yeah, but I loved it too because you could play it kind of like unplugged and it would still actually sound like something.
Yeah.
And a lot of like my go-to was a Mustang, just like a newer modern one. And beautiful. I love that guitar like spiritually, but I mean there was definitely something special about, but it was not my guitar, I'm not like a collector like that, I guess. Maybe one day I'll have a cool old one, but I think it's really, I am like obsessed with anything Fender. So it's funny because actually like I don't have a guitar that isn't Fender. And actually when I did move down here, I did buy an acoustic guitar briefly and then our house got robbed and someone stole it. So I was like, well, I guess I'm only allowed to have Fender gear, but all of it's in LA because I didn't want it to be compromised. And bringing a bunch of like nice Fender stuff to a beach house while I'm living in another country is maybe not the best idea.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I get real jealous when I see people out playing their guitars. I'm like, where did you get that? But it's also really expensive to get them here because you can't just like go to a guitar center, so people have to bring
there's import duties and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so it's like $700 for a guitar that might be $400 or $500 in the States,
Yeah. Someone wanted to know, what is your favorite Death Cab song to play live?
Probably the song "We Looked Like Giants."
Oh, that's a great song.
That one, I mean, it's a great song to begin with, but that's one that when we play it, we've really stretched it out, and there's nice. A kind of a long improv section where we're just kind of vamping and building moods, and that's the one that like it feels like because like we try to be fairly consistent in how we're playing things. Like we don't take a lot of random risks or like change the arrangements much from night to night, but that's one where like you never know how you're going to get out of that section.
I like that.
It's kind of fun, so it's keeps everybody on their toes, and you're just like you're playing and you've got to kind of sometimes you really drop off the cliff kind of out into like free form kind of a free form section, and you've really got to figure out how to bring it back, and that's pretty cool. So that's my favorite song to play like.
Good Jesus and Mary Chain reference in that song too. Shout out.
Oh yeah, JAMC.
It must be like an interesting balance if you've been playing with a band that has like an extensive catalog that goes back, and fans that are really dedicated to certain songs and certain things, to like be playing it not only like in a way that like feels fresh, but also that like people are getting what they want, and that you're not getting sick of it also, but that you're also like delivering on the level that you're like being, you're playing to lots of people who are paying good money. So it's like there's a lot of pressure in that too.
We have had a fairly extensive, it's a popular topic within us of sort of like, how do you cover all the bases? It's like there are the people that maybe have never seen you play ever. There are people that like will come and see you play like every few years. Then there's people that have a few records. There's people that have every record. There's people that only know those few songs that were on the radio, or that one song that was in that one movie, or whatever the thing is they know, but they kind of think they kind of like you, and see, but they don't actually really know any of the material. Then you've got the people that come to like 10 shows in a row, and they're in the front of and you recognize them. They're like that passionate about that band, and you don't want to play the same show every night because you're they're there in the front, and you're like, they know, like, it's like, we got to do something different. But then, you know, you
I
can't.
love thinking of one person controlling the night, that like hardcore, like just following the band and being like, no, it's gonna be different tonight.
Devin from Oklahoma City is actually the true mastermind behind the Death Cab set list every night.
So you know, so we try. Yeah, I mean, the short long answer is we try to give something to every kind of fan. So there's something there for the hardcore, deep cut fans. There's something there for the, like, I love that band, but I kind of just want to hear like the song, the hits, like the songs I like from the few records I like. There's people that like don't really know you, but like, oh, I know that song. Like, I remember that song. And they like, so I think we're trying to do a cross section, and like kind of when you asked at the beginning, like what records are we learning songs from? Like that was one of the things that we kind of thought about. It's like, we know what the popular songs are. What are the unpopular songs that people want to hear? You know?
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, we're trying. You know.
Someone wants to know, what are some of your favorite musicians that you look up to currently?
Some of my favorite musicians that I look up to currently. I think gosh, there are so many
right.
freaking amazing people out there making music right now. And that's almost like an impossibly broad question.
It is very broad. Yeah.
Is there anyone like, currently that you're like, that you've been kind of following in more recent years that you're like,
what about today?
Yeah.
Today. You know, honestly, today, this is awful. The only music that I've listened to today is my own band's music, because I had to learn things.
That I was going to say, that'd be rude if you didn't mention your bandmates, right?
I had to learn things for rehearsal. So I got up this morning and I went for a walk, and I was going to listen to other music. And I realized that I didn't bring the adapter for my headphones.
Yeah.
And then I got back to my room after my walk, and I had an hour, and I had to learn a couple things, songs that I didn't know that we were going to work on. And then we worked on songs all day. And then I had to work on more stuff. I had to do some other homework. And then I went to dinner, and I came back, and here we are. So actually I haven't listened to any other music today. I think that my favorite active living piano player is Brad Meldau. I say this all the time. I just think he's the best. Like, it's like there's like a lot of really, really good people, and then there's like one, like he's just like the best.
Right.
It's
what's his name?
Brad Meldau.
Meldau.
Meldau. He is he's a jazz pianist, although he plays classical and some slightly more pop-ish stuff. He is really he is incredibly good.
Nice. I'll have to check him out.
There's a record the entry record, I think the two, there was one called Art of the Trio Volume 3 songs. And that record was very popular at the time it came out, which was quite a while ago now, because it has a cover of the Radiohead song Exit Music for a Film. But this is right after OK Computer came out. So this is now we're like, there's like 1,000, you've heard like a slow piano version of a Radiohead song, or like a pretty classical, pretty string quartet version. And it was like, he did that at a time when like nobody really thought about like jazz musicians playing contemporary pop music. It wasn't a thing that people were really doing. So he did that.
It wasn't something you like hear at the spa, you know.
Now it is. Now it is.
Yeah.
But this is like 98, maybe that record came out.
Wait, I did not know him by name, but his album Largo.
And I was going to say the other record is Largo. That's the one that people love, that record.
I remember when that came out. That was most of my friends at the time, we were all into metal, but I was very much into that album.
That record's beautiful. So those two records are really, and he's still out there, he's still very active. I think he mostly lives in Europe now with his family, but he tours and he plays.
How dare he?
I saw him a few years ago play with a different format than his most regular thing. That he played with the drummer Mark Juliana, who's a friend of mine. I guess he's like my neighbor. Weirdly, like I see him at the coffee shop. And he's like one of the best drummers in the world. This guy, he's just phenomenally good. And actually he just released the first song from his new record, came out a few days ago. And actually that was the last piece of new music that I listened to that I thought, wow, this is really good. And that was a couple of years ago. So that's, he's somebody that's really, really fantastic as well. But I saw Brad and Mark and John Schofield play in New York a few years ago, and it was mind-blowingly good. The level of musicianship is just really insane. Anyway.
Caitlin, what about you, real quickly? Is there anyone today specifically, who are you thinking about?
Today was a busy day. I didn't think much about music, honestly. I was thinking about Snake Venom. I was watching Schitt's Creek most of my downtime today. So
hey, you can the father and son writing team there. That can be like your just for today. That's your that's who you're into.
Yeah, I'll submit that answer. It was poetry to my ears today. It was certainly the perfect transportation out of my own mind for a little bit. What about you? I feel like I can't really think of anyone that I've just been listening to.
Well, this conversation, it's so funny because I am not great with the names and I'm not the most knowledgeable about jazz, but jazz is actually something I love very much. And I was starting to think about Robert Glasper as far as jazz pianist. I love him. He shows up in a lot of Kendrick Lamar records. He does a lot of his own stuff. His newer stuff has been transitioning into jazz and hip hop and pop itself and stuff like that. And then I pulled up this album. It was one of my favorites from last year. And as Caitlin can attest to, I'm not the best at saying the names of people, but the album is called Uneasy. It's a trio jazz record that came out. I believe it's Vijay Iyer, Linda Mahon O, and Tyshawn Sori.
I think I know the record you're talking about.
Yeah, that album
was nice. They're on ECM, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that record. That's really good.
Yeah.
I had to look at my sort of saved
Same
records. But so another one that I feel kind of went by from 2021 and didn't get a lot of attention, that I really liked. I don't, again, going to massacre the pronunciation. I think the record is called Maquishti.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by somebody named Patricia Brennan. And it's basically a solo jazz vibraphone record.
Oh, wow. I will have to check that out. That sounds awesome. It's kind of just really cool because I think that there's a lot of people doing solo piano records now, especially people that really maybe aren't actually trained as piano players, but they put on the little felt mute on their piano and they sit and they play some pretty quiet, delicate stuff, and it sounds really beautiful. And it's hey, I made an ambient piano record, check me out. A lot of people doing this. No shade, just saying there's a lot of people doing this. And it was just
so the words aren't shade, but the tone, I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Well, look, man, everybody's
I'm just making fun of you.
But this record, phenomenal musician, and it's just really refreshing hearing a different instrument, because I think we hear a lot of piano, we hear a lot of like solo guitar, things like that, and it was like, I don't know if I've ever heard a solo vibraphone record. I think it's a she, but these days I could be wrong. Could be not a she. I don't know. They are doing cool stuff with treating the sound with effects and pedals. And it's just really interesting record. So Patricia Brennan.
What was the artist name again? Oh,
Patricia Brennan and McQuishti or McQuishti. I'm not sure the pronunciation.
Eric,
that was a
I did, yeah. I'd take it. I'll post on the thing.
2021 record that I really liked, and kind of one that like I want to know more, but there is very little information kind of on the internet about this person.
Oh, that's always the best though. It's those ones where it's just like you can't. It's like a band camp that has like no information whatsoever. Where it's like
music, super,
yeah.
I also checked my. Recently, I remembered we had some people over the other night, and this one girl introduced me to this like duo down here that does. They're called the Hermanos Gutierrez, I believe. Hermanos Gutierrez, and they're like brothers, and it's like a guitar duo, and it's kind of classical, but it's very kind of like surf vibey, like it's a good
nice
music to sort of have on in the background while you're like having drinks and chatting, but it's also like you can like let that silence fall, and just like be sort of chilling, especially when it's like, I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's like tropical thunderstorm happening outside, and it's like you get the vibe of being like by the beach, and it's like these slidey guitars, and it's only two people, but it sounds like a whole band kind of thing because they're doing a lot of like percussive playing, and so that was cool.
What if a giant wave like crashed through your window as you're saying that, and I played like
Please,
the wipeout like sound effect
all the time? I have so many nightmares about waves like knocking down the walls of my house.
Are you in a tsunami zone?
Oh, I mean, I live like very close to the ocean. Yeah, like across the street.
If you live your life dangerously, you're always in the tsunami zone. Am I right?
It's either a snake or tsunami that's gonna get me. Not today.
Or a giant eagle.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a giant eagle. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about, I don't think
special.
I even actually ever said what the king cobra like particular venom does. It's an anti-inflammatory. If I didn't sneak that in.
I did think I did make a note of that in my head at some point, and then I never followed up on it. I was like, we've never actually explicitly said why you did that.
I just started talking about
just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
We're gonna change gears here for these last couple. We're gonna do these kind of like lightning round.
Okay.
These are not music related. Someone know, would you rather have 2 lobster arms or a bottom half lobster with a human top?
To eat or to be?
To be.
I'll be a merman lobster. Fuck it.
So you'll be
cool.
the one where like human, like Minotaur style.
Human, but then like I'm a lobster from the waist down.
That'd be so sick,
like
honestly.
Lobster
With
legs and genitalia.
Yeah,
like fuck it, let's get weird.
The tail
you can
that
still
can
play
kind of
piano,
flap.
but you might even have
play
more
piano.
limbs.
Sounds actually almost more comfortable than a traditional piano bench because you can just like walk right up to it with all your legs and you're kind of hovering above.
I'd have like a kiddie pool.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the kiddie pool and then like playing the piano, but with a lobster lower half. Merman lobster.
I like it. What's your favorite meal to make? Just off the hip.
Black coffee.
Oh, hey, that's a good meal.
That's the Vogue diet from the 1970s.
What books are you currently reading?
This one. Slowly.
Gold Bug Variations. The Gold
Richard.
Bug Variations by Richard Powers is being presented to the listener at home.
Fiction or nonfiction?
It is fiction.
Ooh, a work of fiction.
It is good. it's been slow going. I haven't been very motivated. I've been very distracted by the modern age.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
Caitlin,
Sorry.
are you reading anything?
We lost Caitlin, I think.
Caitlin, oh no, are you there?
Frozen.
Well,
Maybe the wave came in.
I'll say this real quickly. I am reading Electric October by Kevin Cook, who semi-related to the show as Lily Cook, former guest of the show. It's her father. It's all about the infamous World Series from 1947, which was the New York Mets versus at the time, it was the New York Dodgers. And it's a really great book.
Brooklyn Dodgers, were they?
Brooklyn Dodgers, yeah.
So it was the New York Brooklyn.
Yes, exactly. And it's the way he writes is really incredible. All right, Caitlin's completely, for the listener at home, Caitlin, we saw her kind of
the wave came in.
Yeah.
She's gone. It was nice knowing you.
She'll be back in, I'm sure. I'll ask you one more question before we get into the kind of games that we played before we go out. Someone wants to know, without thinking about it, say the first album you would take as one of your desert island albums. Good Lord, if I can talk.
John Coltrane, My Favorite Things.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, on that note, we are going to, while we wait for Caitlin to get back in, we are going to play a game that we play with all of our guests, and it is called MASH. Sir, do you know what MASH is, the classic childhood game MASH?
No, I know what MASH, the classic TV show, is.
My favorite. I just finished reading the book that it was based on just recently. It was really good.
I didn't know it was based on a book, so there we go.
Yeah. How do you play MASH? How do you play MASH? We're going to play right now. Basically, we're going to find out what your future holds. What I do is I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You're going to give me two. Like the first one right out the gate is like two places you'd love to retire to, one place you wouldn't. We're going to do that for a couple questions, and then at the very end, it whittles it down and tells you what your future is.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. And it's a game of like not overthinking it. We're not hurting anyone's feelings with these things. We're just saying what feels right. So first question, two places that you would love to retire or live the rest of your days.
The California Redwoods, or monastery in Japan.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Got a thing from Caitlin. Her power went out, so we're gonna see maybe if the phone can work for the last 20 minutes here. And then, what would be the worst place that you could retire?
Florida.
I love it. And by I love it, I mean I don't. I get it. Two dream jobs that you would do the rest of your life.
Playing in Death Cab for Cutie, and being a bartender at a like very exclusive, beautiful bar in an exotic place.
Oh, I love it. Kind of like the movie Cocktail.
Kind of like the movie, but like if it was like they remade Cocktail with like Clive Owen.
Yeah. Okay. Where it's a little.
It's like a classy, quiet cocktail, but it's cocktail.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like middle-aged Clive Owen, and that's me, and I'm up there like. Great.
That's actually a brilliant answer. I love that. And then, what would be the worst job? We're not hurting anyone's feelings. Just for you personally, the worst job that you would do the rest of your life. Hello again, Caitlin.
President of the United States.
President of the United States. Excellent. POTUS.
What were the two good ones?
Playing in Death Cab for Cutie and a bartender at an exclusive bar in an exotic location.
But he said like Tom Cruise in Cocktail, and it said if they remade Cocktail with like present day Clive Owen.
Oh.
So like that vibe, but like Cocktail.
Got it. Cool.
So like maybe it's like like a fancy hotel in Singapore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like it.
I don't know.
Two of your favorite colors.
Gray and black.
Oh, you're on the right show in that case.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite color?
Neon yellow.
Oh, I don't blame you. Okay. 2 dream vehicles you would have, sir. These could be any modes of transportation, but just 2 dream modes of transportation in your life.
Okay, like the Citroen hearse, but like super pimped out, dialed in, like maybe like a light green.
The what? Sorry,
The Citroen hearse, like basically like
Oh,
the
Hurt. Okay,
Buster's car.
the one from Harold and Maude.
Was that a Citroen hearse? No, was that that was
Let me look this up.
like the Citroen, like the long Citroen.
Oh, I pulled it up on my phone.
Kind of like the Ghostbusters car.
Yes,
Not the Harold and Maude one. That's something else. That one, or like the Wright brothers, like a wooden airplane.
The Spruce Goose.
Like an airplane with like 3 wings like this and like wooden propellers. And like you're sitting in it like, you're gonna go like
I think it was called the Spruce Goose. Excellent choice.
The Spruce Goose was the Howard Hughes giant.
You're right. I will get. Thank you.
That's still in like a warehouse somewhere in like Long Beach.
What would be your least favorite?
Like a new Dodge Charger neon yellow.
Okay, we are not allowed to put a color on it for undisclosed reasons, but I'll put
new Dodge Charger.
New Dodge Charger.
I have a feeling that it's gonna be neon yellow. I think I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Only it depends on your luck and your the forces of the internet at work tonight. At play.
2 crushes that you'd end up with. These could be celebrity, these can be real, these could be made up.
2 crushes. Anna Karina from in the movie Alphaville.
Nice.
And like 1982 Kate Bush.
I love Anna Karina.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
And then
I have
the poster from Alphaville on my wall.
I learned
a crazy movie.
one makeup look in my 20s, and I just like showed my friend a picture of her in, I don't know, some fucking movie, and I was like, just show me how to do this, and then I still only wear concealer and eyeliner basically. But it works. Hey, if it ain't broke.
Sorry guys. And then you probably get where this is going. What would be the worst? Who would you not want to end up with the rest of your life?
Melania Trump.
Get on.
Firm but fair. All right.
That's the current wife, right? I can't remember. Yeah, definitely not. Ooh.
Can I get 3 random numbers? Uh-oh.
I really thought the wave had come to get you, the tsunami.
Oh my God.
Are you there, sir? I think we all froze up on that one, so I apologize. I need 3 random numbers.
7, 23, and 492.
Hell yeah. And finally, 2 of your favorite animals and your least favorite animal.
Pig. The Komodo dragon. And least favorite is like whatever that bird is that lives in my neighborhood that sounds like a car alarm.
Neighborhood bird. So that got a good ring to it. Okay, I'm going to draw a spiral. You tell me when to stop, sir. Did we freeze again? Because I'm just drawing a spiral forever right now. Oh no. For the listener at home, I'm not sure what's going on, but I have lost both my guests at the moment.
Is Eric's internet out? There we go.
Recording
you guys
in
there?
progress.
Sorry guys. I think that sometimes this happens when it's like extreme heat going on. Sometimes like the internet starts getting spotty in the neighborhood, so I apologize for that. But we are
It's
back.
okay. My lights are going on and off. It's crazy over here. So I don't know what's me and what's
and nothing is happening here in the hotel, but I'm telling you, those ghosts.
They travel through the screen. We have some experience.
It's like the movie Pulse.
Yeah.
You're going through the wires.
Classic movie Pulse.
Beaming down. Yeah.
I don't know if either of you heard me, but the last thing I said was I'm going to draw a spiral and you tell me when to stop. And it happened to freeze at that moment, so I just kept drawing a spiral, and I was like,
I said stop, but I think it was after the freeze.
I never heard that, so you can see, for the listener at home, you can't, but it's just like a mush pile of spiral. Okay, so I'm going to now cross off the names here, and for the listener at home, if you're on the YouTube, here you go. I can show you right now, Zach. We have an actual pencil that is crossed them off, but to save time, we're going to skip ahead. All right. Once you graduate, you'll find work in the California Redwoods as a bartender at an exclusive bar in an exotic place. You'll get around town in your gray Wright Brothers airplane. You'll marry Anna Karina. You'll live in a mansion with your 7 kids. Whew, you dodge a bullet on that 400 and something one. And your ever loyal pet Komodo dragon. Oh, yeah. All
that's
good.
Sweet life.
That is a very sweet life.
Wow, man, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
All those spirals. They got you far tonight. It was. The ghost. The ghost did help you in the long run.
Yeah, you see, they're friendly ghosts.
Okay, so funnily enough, it's kind of funny that we talked about that neighborhood bird, because the one thing that we always end our show doing a personality quiz, Zach. And what we do is we scour the depths of the internet to find the best and greatest personality quizzes out there. You know, ones like, what Olsen twin am I? What kind of breakfast sandwich am I? And tonight, no joke, what I pulled up for you before we went on was, what bird are you? So we're going to find out. You might be, for all we know, one of the options is that annoying neighborhood bird. But we'll find out right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. These are multiple choice questions. What color clothes or feathers do you like to wear? Well, it's smart to wear gray because then you can blend in with the trees. I like to wear neutrals like dusky brown rather. I go for glamour and flash. Red's my signature color. I go for an elegant blue-gray suit. Or I like understated dark colors.
I like understated dark colors.
Okay. How big are you as a bird? Pretty darn big. I'm,
But these quizzes are so literal. They're just like, what size bird are you?
I'm sorry, I forgot to say too, I always say this and I apologize, the Power Outage thing made me go crazy. This was developed by Jennifer and Ethan. So this was actually 2 people who developed this quiz. It took a team.
Takes a village to find out what kind of bird you are.
Okay, so how big are you as a bird? Pretty darn big. I'm, bird sized. I'd be a short but stocky bird. I'd be small and svelte, or I'd be big and powerful.
I'm, a bird.
Okay. We're sticking with the bird. What type of hunter are you? If it moves, I'll eat it. I like fast food, the flying type. The swimming kind, the silent but sneaky kind, or I attack every sunflower seed in the feeder, taking no prisoners.
Slow and sneaky.
Okay. What part of the world do you live in? I'm a wanderer. Wherever there's KFC, I mean birds. Well, I always like when they try to do like a joke and they're like, come on, no bits, you guys. Let's keep this real. Only on the Galapagos Island. Dense shrubby areas throughout most of the United States. Farms or cities. I'm not picky. All right. It's a little too broad. Or the Pacific Ocean and my condo in Hawaii. Took 2 of them to write this. I want to remind people.
Galapagos Islands?
The Galapagos. Excellent.
I love how like in some of them they're so literal, and then some of them they're like quirky and make a joke, and then one of them the bird has a condo.
It's a good living bird. What's your dream nest look like? It'd be a cute nest with lots of privacy in a small tree. Just a scrape in the sand on the beach. Call me a beach bum. A hole in a tree or a nice nesting box that someone provides, as long as it's rent free. That was in parentheses. This one says, let's just say it has a fantastic cliff view or a small dome-shaped nest in a bush or cactus. Cozy.
Spectacular cliff view.
Yeah, there you go. What do you do that freaks people out? I regurgitate the bones, fur, and feathers of my prey into soft little pellets. I like to drink the blood of other birds. If I get up high enough, I can reach speeds up to 200 miles per hour as I dive down to my prey. God.
Hell yeah.
I drink seawater and secrete excess salt through glands above my eyes, or I attack my own reflection in a mirror, often for hours.
Which of these are you?
Which of these are me? I mean, I probably do attack my reflection in the mirror for often hours, so let's go with that.
Once again, on the right show. Yeah.
How would you describe your call? A slow descending trill. 2 or 3 second songs that sound kind of like birdie and cheer. A loud cack cack cack. That'd probably be like your nasal and braying. Oh, okay, we didn't get one for that. Or whistling with either lilting or buzzing noises.
Whistling with lilting or buzzing noises.
Okay. What do you eat? Oh boy, these lists one. Jesus Christ. What do you eat? Okay, here we go. Seeds, invertebrates, prickly pear nectar, stolen eggs, and bird blood. Most types of small animal. Better keep a close eye on your hamster. ... Also in parentheses. Mostly birds. Don't judge me. Seeds and fruits, and occasional insects. Or I like a seafood diet, especially those flying fish eggs. Yum.
Seafood.
Okay. And finally, are you at risk for extinction? Well, well, if you must bring up a sore subject, yes, I am. Absolutely not. I'm the state bird of 7 states. I don't know if that can be a thing. No way. I'm found on all continents except Antarctica. Let's just say I'm vulnerable. Or no, as long as there are trees around, I will be around.
I'm in danger of becoming extinct.
You're vulnerable.
I'm vulnerable.
All right, we will submit these test results right now. All right, for 60%, you are, oh my God, you are a, hey, Goth Yearbook folks, you are a vampire finch. You occasionally feed on blue-footed boobies by pecking them with your sharp beak and drinking their blood, and they don't seem to mind. It's your irresistible charm.
Wow.
What kind of boobies?
It says
blue-footed boobies. Those are actually birds that they live down here too. I don't know where else they live. Oh my God. Do you hear that?
Yes, I do.
That was crazy.
Is that the rain outside?
Weather?
That was thunder.
Is that the blue-footed boobies?
Those are the blue-footed boobies riding in on a wave from the islands that they live on out here. No, I saw them. They just have blue feet.
Gotcha.
They have blue feet. I got scared by that thunder. My heart's racing.
Oh my God.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I can hear that fully. Like up to now, I kind of heard a little bit, but holy shit.
Yeah, it's a tropical cyclone. That's what the app says.
All right. Well, it's kind of like this is crazy because this is like the end of the episode and feels like the sky is literally kind of telling us to wrap it up. So we're not going to fight
I hope you will make it through the night.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. It's just not. I'll just whatever.
Zach, thank you so much for being on the show. Before we get going,
Thanks for having me.
is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything you want people to check out?
No, just look up at the sky and remember what it was like.
Except if you're Caitlin, maybe don't look up at the sky for at least the next 6 hours.
No, I'm actually gonna go up on the balcony upstairs. It's kind of fun to watch, like, so you can see the lightning light everything up like daylight,
All right. Well, Caitlin, we're going to hope that you stay safe out there. But otherwise, Zach, thank you so much for being willing to come on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I had an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
I want to give a shout out to the people in the YouTube chat who are talking it up. No Halo just posted one that said run. So no Halo, we're all going to run right now. But otherwise, thank you to those that listen at home. Thank you once again to Zach. Caitlin, as always, thank you for being the hostess with the mostest. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight to both y'all.
All right, good night.
Good night, guys. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.